Today is the fourth in a series of 10 spotlights on Black composers. Previous spotlights included Samuel Coleridge Taylor, Florence Price, and Scott Joplin. Today, our spotlight shines on Nathaniel Dett, a Canadian-American Black composer, organist, pianist, choral director, and music professor. Nathaniel Dett was born in 1882 in Drummondville, Ontario, Canada. Nathaniel's mother was a native of Drummondville, and his father was from the United States. At age 11, Dett's parents moved the family to Niagara Falls, New York. From this point forward, Dett would live, study, and work almost exclusively in the United States. The young Nathaniel showed an early interest in the piano at age 3, starting lessons at 5. This started a lifetime of learning for Nathaniel. He was the first African American to receive a Bachelor of Music degree from Ohio's Oberlin College in 1908. He continued to take every opportunity to study at prestigious colleges and universities throughout the United States, including Harvard in 1920 and 21. At the age of 49, after being awarded honorary doctorates in music from both Howard University and Oberlin College, Dett decided to get his master's degree from the Eastman School of Music in 1931. Nathaniel Dett was a gifted and inspiring teacher and director. In 1913, he began teaching at the Hampton Institute in Virginia, where he later became the first Black director of music there. Under his direction, the Hampton Singers became an internationally recognized ensemble specializing in African American sacred music. Nathaniel Dett was one of the most prolific composers of his time. He published over 100 compositions, primarily piano, vocal, and choral works. His compositions as a teenager and young adult reflected the ragtime and dance music popular at the time. But everything changed after Dett heard a performance of Antonin Dvorak's American String Quartet at Oberlin College. Dvorak's signature style incorporates folk music elements from his native Bohemia into his classical compositions. When Nathaniel Dett heard Dvorak's quartet, some of the folk themes reminded him of the spirituals that his grandmother used to sing to him when he was a child. Dett recalls, quote, "Suddenly it seemed I heard again the frail voice of my long-departed grandmother calling across the years, and in a rush of emotion which stirred my spirit to its very center, the meaning of the songs which had given her soul such peace was revealed to me." Unquote. From then on, Dett was passionately committed to bringing the music of Black America, especially spirituals, into his work, using sophisticated compositional innovations to do so. He would go on to compile and arrange collections of spirituals, and is considered a seminal figure in the preservation and study of spirituals. In 1937, the NBC radio network was carrying a live broadcast of the Cincinnati Symphony and May Festival Chorus performing Nathaniel Dett's new oratorio, The Ordering of Moses. An oratorio is a large-scale musical work for orchestra and choir, usually based on a religious narrative, but performed without costumes or scenery. Handel's Messiah is an oratorio. The 1937 performance of Dett's oratorio was the world premiere, featuring a 350-voice choir. The network had slated 1 hour for the broadcast, but curiously, 40 minutes in, the NBC announcer broke in stating, quote, "We are sorry indeed, ladies and gentlemen, but due to previous commitments, we are unable to remain for the closing moments of this excellent performance," unquote. While no one knows for certain why the broadcast was cut short, there are many corroborating accounts of white radio listeners calling into NBC's Southern affiliate stations, outraged that a Black man would be allowed on the stage of Cincinnati Music Hall. Indeed, the 1937 performance of The Ordering of Moses was very possibly the first network broadcast of a major work by an African American composer. Although the radio listeners did not hear the conclusion of the work, those lucky enough to be in the hall for the performance that night heard every note all the way to the end. Nathaniel Dett, who was in attendance, received an enthusiastic standing ovation. 77 years later, in 2014, the Cincinnati Symphony and May Festival Chorus once again presented a live broadcast of The Ordering of Moses. This time with a few changes. The performance venue was Carnegie Hall. The conductor, James Conlon. The most striking difference was that the 2014 live broadcast proceeded without interruption. What did not change was the triumphant success of Dett's new oratorio, which once again received an enthusiastic standing ovation.